the meantime, we're here in Kaohsiung for the 2005 World Pool Championship, and here are the results so far. Earl Strickland beating Kevin Uzel 5-1. In fact, Earl was so elated in a rare moment of joy from Earl, he even treated the spectators to a little bit of a trick shot. Coming up next, it's going to be Niels Feijen of the Netherlands versus Renato Alcano, and then Corey Jewell of the US takes on Fabio Petroni. Okay, so the next matchup is going to be very interesting. It's a six-time Dutch champion as well as the Euro Tour Belgium winner Niels Feijen of the Netherlands taking on Renato Alcano, who is the 2005 Asia Tour Manila winner. And that's going to be coming up right now. Niels Feijen versus Renato Alcano. Let's head over to our MC, John McDonald.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the 2005 Kaohsiung World Pool Championships. Race to 5, referee in charge of the action from Scotland, Michaela Tab. Now it's time to meet the players. Firstly, would you please welcome, from the Netherlands, it's the Terminator, Niels Feijen. And ladies and gentlemen, from the Philippines, please welcome Renato Alcano.
And now let's head over to our match commentators.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to ESPN's continuing coverage of this World Pool Championships from Kaohsiung, Taiwan 2005. This is our first day of coverage, and we now go to a Group 12 match between Niels Feijen of the Netherlands and Ronnie Alcano of the Philippines. You can watch along with Chuck Schreiner here on this day of upsets, Jim. And what's the word on these two guys? I mean, I know Niels, but Alcano is certainly not a household name, although he did win a leg in the Asian Tour.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, big things expected from Alcano. He's got a just immense amount of talent, Chuck, and he's in with a tough nut in Niels Feijen. Niels travels all over the world. He spent a lot of time in the States, you know, playing pressure matches over there. But Ronnie, I just make him only slight favorite in this one, if for no other reason. He's in his own time zone.
Okay, you check out the graphics on him, the 32-year-old right-hander. 2005, as we said, Asian Tour Philippines champion. In the 03 World Pool Championships, second place, so spot on right there, Jim. And see if your intuition is right about him. It certainly is true. The Filipinos have been producing just a plethora of stars the last few years.
Now, Chuck, once you get to know me, you'll find out whoever I tout, go bet on the other guy. And Niels is no stranger to action in Asia as well.
28-year-old, also a right-hander, six-time Dutch champion. And look at that. European 14-1 as a champion, Euro Tour Belgian champion as well. So on the surface anyway, not knowing much about the styles like you do, Jim, pretty even matchup?
Yeah, pretty much. Niels goes by the handle of the Terminator, and he's got a very unique style that you're going to see. He sights with his opposite eye, holds the cue right over, almost the exact opposite of what you would expect. You'll see he sights right under his right eye, so that cue is, his chin will be right over to the side, which is, you know, a la Earl Strickland.
So rack one, Group 2 match. Feijen to break, and right away on that wing. I'll tell you, an untrained eye like mine, I could not tell you, to be honest, Jim, which ball went down, but we saw it go.
Now you'll see that 3-ball, the wing ball, as you said, Chuck, and very unlucky for Niels not to have landed on the 1. He got the cue ball in the middle, won the right end of the table, and thankfully for Ronnie Alcano, that 5 came to his aid.
So a little bit of a block there.
Now Niels has the option here to push out. And the kick shot, not difficult off that side cushion, but that would be very risky. He's just looking in an area now where he could push to make life as difficult for Ronnie as possible. And any time the ball finishes in close proximity to a pocket, that makes the push out a lot more difficult. Because now, you know, where do you push to an area where you can't leave him a shot?
Those who are not familiar with what a push shot is in the game of pool, it's after a break, the player can elect to take basically a safety shot and not have to worry about making contact.
That's right. Chuck, just roll that cue ball into any area of the table that he sees fit. And it looks like Niels is going to roll that cue ball in behind a color. He's very adept at jumping. I don't know whether he knows how well Ronnie Alcano can jump, but I guarantee he's going to be trying to hide this cue ball behind a color. Or has he? Has he left a gap? And judging by the way he departed the table, I think Ronnie can see this one ball.
Body English tells it all, and you can see that gap.
Now this is a mistake from Niels, no doubt.
Oh. Well, a mistake not punished.
Kind of threw his arm at that, didn't he? Now, can Niels clip the edge of that one, possibly sending it into the 9? You can see that he's bumped the 7 over the corner pocket, and he's looking at a 3-ball combination now, 1 into the 9 to try and park that 7 to the bottom of the pocket. And this one will take some judging.
Liberation as he circumnavigates the table.
A big believer in fitness is Niels as well. Works out every day, and it shows. Pretty healthy guy.
Yeah, I was going to say him and I think Mickey also. On matches that we had earlier in the day, I believe that was our second or third match.
Oh, we missed the 7. He's not left Ronnie anything easy on the 1.
So cat and mouse very early, not for want of trying, and missed there.
There's still the nerves settling in. First rack of a possible 9, alternating break format as it's going to be throughout the round robin stages. Good containing shot, that one from Alcano. Niels is going to be kicking at this off that side cushion with speed, trying to put some distance between the cue ball and the 1. And you would expect him to hit this, but left a little to luck how they're going to land.
Contact that he needs, and bad shot.
Chuck, I was going to say, I don't think this cuts into the side, and from that angle it certainly doesn't look like it does, but there is the outside possibility of a side bank into the other center pocket. That's what Ronnie's attacking.
40-minute scratch. Still, we're waiting for anything to drop since the break.
We've probably played for about somewhere just short of 5 minutes, and as yet, nothing's found gravity.
Change of the Steve Davis match earlier on.
Terrific crowds here for the 2005 World Championships in Kaohsiung, right from the outset.
There we go. So first blood since the break, drawn by Niels, and terrific shape for the 2.
Yeah, a little straighter than he would have liked, but he's got the pink 4 next, and he's looking at the 4-7 combination into the bottom right corner. He'd like to be able to get this cue ball a little closer to that pink 4 ball, but again, he doesn't want to risk missing the 2. As we've already noted earlier in the broadcast, these pockets have been shimmed a little. They're not quite as generous as we've seen in past years.
Doesn't get quite the kick you were alluding to, Jim.
No, the danger here, Chuck, is even in knocking this 4-7 in, if he doesn't hit it flush and leave the 4 over that corner pocket, he may run out of position because the cue ball will be traveling away from the 4. Well, this isn't easy.
cut, and not easy indeed as the 4.
There's always going to be the danger.
Goes into the right-hand side, and what to do now? Is that space in between the 6-8? You can see it.
Not much Niels could do. He just had to try and leave that 4 over the corner pocket and hope that there was going to be a path through.
What sort of shape, Jim, does that leave him for the 6 and shots after that?
Well, I'd rather be in Ronnie's shoes right now.
Correct.
An outside chance at a bank into the other corner pocket if he could avoid the double kiss on the cue ball. I don't know how much of that 4 ball is sticking out. If he could hit it flush, he'd like to be able to kill the cue ball there and bank the 4 up table. Well, he could hit it flush. That's what he's done. And an anxious look from Niels Feijen. This is one of those matches that both of these players would be favored to progress through in this Group 12 match. But you know, if you can win one of these matches, it really puts you in good shape for the remainder of the qualifying stages. Just a containing shot from Alcano there, and a chance now for Niels Feijen to be a little bit more aggressive with his safety play. And if he so chooses, he could try and bank this into the side pocket, leave himself on the orange 5 next. Like that.
Shot. No mistake. And lift the shape to the 5 and subsequent shots that will follow.
You'll notice too with Niels that he's a real devout practicer on the pool table. That cue goes right through on the intended target line. He's a terrific cueist. Great fundamentals. Sort of person that you'd like to pattern yourself after in terms of technique.
Even with the idiosyncrasy that you were talking about, lining up with the opposite eye, which...
Well, yeah, I was about to say, well, everything apart from that.
Okay, so rack 1 going to Niels. So 1-0. All right, we'll be right back with more action from Kaohsiung in just a minute. It's the ESPN coverage of the World Championships. Don't go away. Right here. Get off the airplane. That's one of the first things that you will see. Of course, we're here to see pool and lots of it. Day 1 of competition. A Group 12 match between Niels Feijen and Ronnie Alcano of the Philippines. And the man from the Netherlands drawing first blood, Jim. 1-0. Very strategic indeed, that first rack.
Yeah, it took about 5 minutes before the first ball was potted. In the end, Feijen held serve with his break, and now it's down to Alcano to try and level things up here in rack 2.
Good looking break there. Good spacing.
Did that 2 travel enough to get past the 3 into the side pocket? Not judging by Ronnie's reaction. 1 straight into the center. That's a break. Where these guys will play, they're that astute with the break shot, Chuck, where they'll either attack the wing ball, try and bring the 1 and the cue ball back, or they'll use what we call a cut break, try and slot that 1 into the side pocket as Ronnie did, and hope they land on the 2.
Oof.
Good looking safety there. Not the sort of shot that Niels Feijen was hoping to be presented with when he got out of his chair.
Spent the majority of this match early on here cogitating around the table. Just nothing left on the table as far as easy pickings for any of these guys.
No.
Which is the way it should be in a World Championship.
Well, there's so much pressure out there. I was watching some of the outside matches earlier on, and the crowds are huge. There's a lot, far more than the people you just see here on our main table. There's hundreds of people in the outskirts watching all the outside matches, and boy, you can hear a pin drop in some of those. There is so much pressure, it's just intense. And Niels has got his jump cue out of its case, so he's going to be going over that orange 5. And I would imagine the way he's eyeing this up, he's trying to knock that green 6 into the corner.
He gets in his way and almost slops it in. It's a little jump. Niels, and I'll be very happy with that or not.
See him clearly over the 5. Almost fluke that 2 into the side pocket. As it is, a great chance this for us to have our first look at Alcano in flow. Very highly regarded Filipino. As you said earlier, Chuck, a winner on the San Miguel Asian Tour already this year. Is this going to be his year? Many think so.
4, 5, 6. The lay of the land looked really safe. As we said this many occasions today, we have to eat our words. Beautiful lead. My goodness.
Tall and lanky. Can get out over the table. Geez, he lost the cue ball a bit there. I don't think he wanted to be quite so near that side pocket, but no danger here. This is just all about controlling that cue ball. And again, a lot like the Filipino players, very loose grip. He allows the weight of that cue to be his friend.
Rattles that one home, and good placement. My goodness.
This will go a long ways to helping Ronnie settle his nerves too. Now we say the first and the last ones are the toughest to win, so he's gotten over that hurdle.
Just to even it up at 1. And he does it. So 2 racks, winner in each rack. Becomes best of 7 right now. So Alcano striking back in this second rack. First time we've really had a chance to see him on the table for any length of time. Let's go back and look at some shots that made it possible early on. 6th. Rattled home and finishing it up. Great positioning, great leading all the way for Alcano. As we tie up, we go to rack number 3, Jim.
Yes.
Progressing about the way you thought?
No, it was just a good safety shot, buying Alcano the opportunity there, forced the mistake from Feijen and capitalized. And at this level, one mistake is supposed to be crucial, and just what you'd expect. Niels Feijen breaking here, rack number 3. Cue ball got kicked.
Nothing going down.
Well, that 8 ball just sitting on the precipice of that side pocket. Don't know what kept it on the table. There's no clear-cut path. Well, that was a chance missed from Alcano. But this is far from an easy lay of the land for Niels Feijen. You can see that orange 5 he's looking at, the 5-8 combination. And that's the problem ball right now as they sit. Feijen would dearly love to improve on last year's performance. Bob Guerrero's just let us know that Feijen, in fact, did not even get out of his group last year.
One guy, oh my goodness.
And if he misses any more shots like that, he may not be getting out of his group this year.
Another guy that you might have heard of that almost didn't get out of his group last year, a guy named Alex Aguilan.
Yes, that's right. Last year's champion. Recovered from the early nerves last year to go on and lift the crown over his head. Alex lost his first match in this, won his second. He's sitting at 1-1, but I can tell all our viewers right now Efren Reyes is in serious trouble. He's lost his first 2 matches.
That's right. Emily, and also going down to Luke Salvas today, 5-4 count. So
yes, our first 3 matches on the main TV table, all upsets. This one considerably tougher to call. So this is the big shot right here now. He's got to get that cue ball over to leave that 5-8 combination.
Commentators, I think, excuse me, Jim, I think earlier on, Jerry was alluding to the fact that on about day 3 or 4, the table slows down considerably due to the chalk buildup and dust and the other stuff that naturally gets ingrained in that new felt cover. Right now, a lot of these players having a problem with judging the speed of the table.
Yeah, playing on a new table, it's always time settling in and getting used to the speed of it. And as your nerves start to relax a little, well, here we go. You see a lot of this from Francisco Bustamante. This can't be easy, and don't try this at home.
That's right.
Unless you've got a slot booked with the chiropractor tomorrow.
That's what I was going to say. Okay, so 7, considerably easier. And one more for the 2-1 lead for the Pinoy. Ronnie Alcano. Yes, so Alcano with a 2-1 lead over Niels Feijen of the Netherlands. And just as you were talking about, Jim, this guy is somebody to be reckoned with. Hey, we'll be right back for the 4th rack. ESPN's coverage of the World Championships in pool will continue. The action from around the world. Check your local listings. That will be on Star. Right now on ESPN. 2-1 in favor of Alcano. Needing to get a little bit of a jump start right here. Alcano, at least, well, somebody like me, I've never seen him play before, and he's made a believer out of me. He's got everything in his repertoire to go far in this tournament, I think, Jim.
Yeah, I think a just scoreline right now. I think Alcano has just been a little bit better, marginally better than Feijen, and that bad miss in the last rack proving costly. But Alcano now with a chance, if he holds his break here, he can put Feijen under a lot of pressure.
Daylight between him and his opponent.
I'll tell you, if you can bottle this break, you can sell it to any 9-ball player around the world, Chuck. 1 sitting pretty, and you can see that 2 perched over the bottom corner pocket. So, again, huge advantage to Ronnie Alcano.
So potted on the break. 2-3, ducks on a pond.
You know, these Filipino stars, they walk around, it's like they've got ice water running through their veins. They are so cool. It's almost intimidating watching them. If you're in the chair opposite as Niels Feijen is, that can't be easy. Spinning that cue ball effortlessly.
Oh, goodness.
And what looked like it may have been awkward now becomes straightforward.
Hold the cue. Great look at the 5.
When you control the cue ball as well as these top players do, they make the game look preposterously easy. And I can tell you folks at home, it is not nearly as easy as they're making it look.
Shaking the feet up and down rack here. Niels not being able to move from his chair. Fear that he is going to, Jim, at least in this break. This rack here. Beautiful position. Wow.
Yeah, it looked a little shaky in the opening rack, and from then on, one-way traffic.
3-1, just like that. That's taking what, all about 90 seconds there, Jim.
Yeah, he's smooth. When he gets motoring, you're going to take some kind of pool to put him in his chair.
Okay, so Niels Feijen under the gun right now. Ronnie Alcano having his way with just a beautiful rack, as Jim was saying. A synopsis of quick work that he put together. The final touches on the 9 to wrap it up. So 3-1 lead. Remember, a race to 5 here from Kaohsiung, ESPN's presentation of the 2005 World Pool Championships. Weish along with Chuck Schreiner. Hope you're enjoying our coverage, and we will be with you July 10th when the finals come. And a lot of pool between now and then.
And these guys are going to need to get some rest because it is 9 grueling days of play. Being a fitness freak doesn't hurt. As a man at the table certainly has an edge in that regard. Good break off that time from Feijen. And it looks like he's got a shot at the 1 just into that top corner pocket. This is just what Niels needed.
Great scatter, good pace, nice spacing.
Again, that cue ball right into the middle of the table. Power with control. I think the alarm bell has likely gone off in Niels Feijen's head. He knows he can't afford any more mistakes, trailing 3-1.
Well, that's why you got to admire that break. When the pressure was on, he did deliver.
He's not happy with that shot. I think he wanted to be a little straighter on the 3. The natural path looks to be taking the cue ball towards the 9, and he doesn't want to contact anything. Doesn't have to do too much. The 4 near the top left corner. You can see there, he knew he was going into that 9 ball. He just had to negotiate the contact from the 9. These players, you tend to get a bit selfish too as a pool player. You want everything to be dead easy. And even then you'll shake your head every now and then. It's a little bit of a psychological ploy, you know, playing a little bit of poker with your opponent. Make them think you're in trouble and you've got smooth sailing.
Right, yeah.
Around the back of the 5.
Setting himself up pretty for the next 3 shots. Nice little triangle here, 5, 6, 7.
And anytime you're a little bit nervous and you're feeling the pressure a little bit, it's always great to let that cue go. And you know, if you've got to let the cue ball run a little bit more, but you can hit it, a lot easier. I mean, the nerves, if they're ever going to, you know, be shown, it's usually when you're playing a slow rolling shot. There's a little bit of unforced error in a movement, taking your eye off the ball. Pressure doesn't always manifest itself in a clear miss. Sometimes it can be the thinking process. So when these guys can get up and hit the ball, let that cue arm go, you've got to be a lot more comfortable feeling.
Yogi Berra, once say Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra.
Or Yogi Berra too.
Or Yogi Berra too.
Boo-boo.
About the same intelligence. But 90% of the game is mental and the other half is physical. I think that would hold true in any sport. The effort level and talent level being what it is, almost equal in the game. Extremely important in any sport, including pool. Nice get there.
Again, ran into the 9, did not want to contact anything, and he may be getting his jump cue out for his next shot. But that's as bad as missing the ball. That's an unforced error. He left himself the wrong side of the 6, taking the cue ball away from the 7. And just like that, he finds himself in trouble. But one good shot can retrieve things.
Go airborne here. Oh, yes.
What a shot.
Oh.
That's like a dagger through Alcano's heart there. Just when you think you might be getting out of your chair, all of a sudden you're settling back in.
Well, as you had said, Jim, Niels needed to come back strong. in this 5th game. He's done exactly that. So perhaps planting a seed of doubt ahead of Ronnie Alcano. This match is going to go to 3-2.
Yeah, it wasn't the conventional path to the winning line in this rack, but it looks like he's going to get there first.
There it is. So 3-2. Niels Feijen doing what he had to do to remain in contact with Alcano in this match. With the jump shot. Back at the half that got him there. After he had such great shape after the break, I mean, it was all academic except for that one mistake he made where he had to go overland. Finishing it off with a 9 right there. So 3-2. Alcano still leads, and he will break, and we will break too. Again, water being the gateway to Kaohsiung. It's also used for transportation. Get folks around on a beautiful Taiwan weekend. We've got a beautiful weekend in store for you too if you're tuning into ESPN, because World Pool Championships going on right now. Match between Niels Feijen and Ronnie Alcano, 3-2 in favor of the Pinoy at the moment. And Jim and I were just talking at the break how technically this might be the best match of the day. We've seen one mistake, as you pointed out.
Yeah, very high standard this match, and the one mistake has been the difference. Alcano winding it up here, rack number 6. I was catching myself. There's 6. And no friends at the table, so a chance for Feijen, possibly not to attack, but he could certainly take the aggressive path in terms of defense.
Nicely put, Jim.
He's having a look at the 1-9 combination, but I can't see him taking that on.
You can clearly see the 2 groups of balls, one north end of the table, the other where he is perched at the southern end of the table.
Now this is one of those poker moves. I really can't see him playing the 1-9 combination here. I mean, he's eyeing it up. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but the 1 would need thin contact on the 9, meaning it would be traveling up towards the cue ball, assuming he took the cue ball up that end of the table too. I could see him taking this on if he was guaranteed the safety. He's going for it. 1-9 combination. Geez, I got to tell you, I don't agree with that shot at all. And he's gotten lucky with the safety.
Perhaps trying to make too overt of a statement early on in this match, but why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, had he made it, then you obviously hats off to him, but boy, he could have put Alcano in a lot of trouble there. Oh,
response.
Is this a bit of a mistake? Is there a space between the 6 and the 2 ball through to that 1? Looks very close.
Here's from our other monitor that folks would love to see, but there just might be, Jim.
Yeah, there is. A little unlucky for Ronnie there. He had a wall of balls to try and hide that 1 behind.
So the overhead cam got on the side here does indicate there is space, and indeed there is.
2-7 combination. Trying to leave that 2 right over the same pocket that he hopes will be inviting the 7 into it. And the 3-5 combination to the opposite corner looks set. Big chance for Niels Feijen right here to get back into this match.
Good line, and
oh
my goodness.
Well, I kind of gave him that one. I didn't think he would be slipping up there. That 7 might have been a little further from the corner pocket, in fairness to Niels. I think that's one that he'd like to have over again. Now Ronnie's going to eye up the 3-5 combination. And You have to feel that miss from Feijen is one that could be putting the nails in his coffin in this match.
Could come back to haunt him. Looking beyond that 3-5, there doesn't look to be too many potholes in the road for Alcano.
No, not at all, Chuck. He slots the 5 to the bottom of the corner here and lands on the 3. He just wants to ensure to leave himself a nice angle. I like the way he's brought the cue ball top side of the 3, because now virtually guaranteed to land on the 3, but perfect angle to drop onto the 4 would be the order of the day. And he's ensured to leave himself that, possibly even a little more than he would have desired. So he's going to be raising the back end of the cue here, I think, and digging into the cue ball a bit.
It's the bump. I'm not sure he wanted that, but certainly a makeable shot.
It looks like it passes the 8 into the bottom corner pocket. Thin cut. Also available the bank into the right-hand side.
We'll give it a try.
That looked like it was hanging over the pocket, didn't he?
Like child's play.
This will be the most difficult shot he faces in the remainder of these 3. Just got to make sure to get the cue ball through. Those are the type of shots, usually if you miss them, it's because of unforced movement. Usually due to the pressure of the situation.
Fairly simplistic shot. Take the 4-2 lead. Really taking those in a hot seat now, which he has done. So taking advantage again, that single miscue. And Niels has made 2 of them. Jim throughout the whole match, and he's down 4-2.
Niels Feijen to this stage has been the master of his own demise. 4-2, as you said, Chuck.
Okay, so retrospective here. This is after Niels sat down with a wry grin on his face, knowing this. Open the door and you walk through, and why not? Whirlpool Championships and state to your demise. Okay, so 4-2 now in favor of Alcano, and Niels to break. So Feijen back up against it again. Now, last time we remember he responded very well on the break, and in fact ran the table. Alcano never got out of the seat, so he needs to replicate that right now.
Well, Niels' mind, he's lost the cue ball a bit there. I didn't hear anything drop. No, and I don't think he's going to like his next shot either. This one doesn't look available, but a cluster of colors for Alcano to hide that cue ball and one behind.
See the cue ball all over the place.
I was about to say, in Niels' mind, Chuck, he's thinking if he can win this one, hold serve here, get to 4-3, he needs to break Alcano's serve once, and then he would be breaking in the decider. So he's got to maintain a positive outlook, and that's also very key when you're in competition like this. You know, forget the negatives, throw them out the door.
Right.
Sometimes easier said than done.
Right, shot by shot.
And it looks like he can go straight to that top cushion from our overhead perspective. Get to the 1. Oh, yeah.
How about that? Hey, Jim, you called that one, huh?
Well, I figured he'd hit it. I didn't know he'd make it.
Goodness.
But that's a bonus. One good positional shot here. If he can get onto that 3, if not, looks like it may be available somewhere around the middle of the table where he's holding his Q-tip. But what a shot.
Tough shot.
It looks like he could also spin this, play the cue ball off the top cushion with a lot of left-hand spin to try and get into those colors and develop the 3 somewhat. Really just personal preference as to how he wants to attack the situation. Now he's going to come to the middle of the table.
Skewing the use of that 8 ball.
Now, does he have enough of that 3 to be able to slice this into the corner pocket? If not, this is one of those dead hits to leave the cue ball locked in behind those colors. Bank the 3 around the angles, around the cushions, and to leave Ronnie Alcano in all kinds of trouble.
That was a safety shot. He's doing very well.
And he's left Alcano virtually the same shot that Niels Feijen had. And you'd expect Ronnie to hit this. And if all things being equal, who's to say he might not slot it into the same pocket? No, not bad. He'll take that. He's got the 8 as a blocker into the corner pocket. So again, Niels is just going to have to defend here.
There's no shot at that cut in the side pocket, I don't believe. The 3.
Yeah, possibly it's a thin cut, Chuck. It looks like it's past that side where he can't attack that center pocket. He may just slow roll this and use that 8 as a blocker. You can see just a dead-on hit. Bounce that 3 off the side cushion and lay the cue ball in behind the 8.
Good call.
The danger with that is he knows he was going to be bringing the 3 near that corner pocket. And again, a player the caliber of a Ronnie Alcano, you start leaving balls near pockets, well, I don't think anybody in the game kicked better than the Filipino stars. So Ronnie isn't just trying to hit this 3, he's trying to make it.
Make this 3. Bit off color on that one, that attempt.
I don't know whether or not he's gotten away with it. I think that 3 looks to have just nudged the 4 out of the way to pass into the corner pocket. And if so, this really should be the only chance that Niels Feijen should need to secure this rack and get back to 4-3. And really, he opened the door here with defensive play. You don't often see that in 9-ball. It isn't always about what you make. But he bought himself a few opportunities with some sound defensive shots.
Everything lined up for him now. The 5 even ahead of the 6, 7, 8, 9. I just
no, there's no problem areas. Just wants to ensure to leave himself the right angle to be able to get that cue ball back into the middle of the table with each visit. That's where he wants to leave the cue ball attacking the 7. Niels has played under the pressure of the Moscone Cup, which is a Team Europe versus Team USA challenge event orchestrated by Matchroom. And I mean, there's no greater pressure really in the world than when you're representing your country in a pool tournament. You have to answer to a few teammates in that one as well, so he's no stranger to big-time pressure in pool.
If you don't believe that, just ask anybody who's gone through the Ryder Cup experience.
Exactly the same.
Individuality takes a backseat to teamwork. I mean, in that particular sport, playing well, the United States has much better individual golfers, but hey, he's won the last 2 or 3 Ryder Cups. So
he's got a perfect angle here. He just wants to drop behind that 9, play it into the top right corner. He doesn't like it, and I'm not exactly sure why, because it looks ideal from our camera angle.
Well, surely he would just follow slightly with the cue ball after he bags the 8 and
Just wants
easy
to
angle, and then if nothing else, he's got a straight up and down bank.
Exactly, Chuck. I think he just wants to settle in his mind. Boy, I'll tell you what, he didn't hit that one very flush at all.
Didn't.
Hit it with a lot more pace than I thought he would. Only because that one didn't go into the center of the pocket. Is he off angle on this 9? But it's going to be going into the top corner, I think. Not into that narrow angle in the side as we're showing you. So watch into the top corner.
And there it goes. Rattles around a bit, but it does go. So Niels Feijen of the Netherlands cutting down the distance between him and Alcano. 4-3 now. We'll be back after this break to bring you rack number 8. ESPN's coverage of the 2005 Kaohsiung World Pool Championship continues. Don't go away.
2005 Kaohsiung World Pool Championship is brought to you by Kaohsiung
Center here where we are holding the World Championships. July 10th. This is day 1 of our competition. What a match we've got here. Feijen 3, Alcano 4 from the Philippines, and Alcano to break. He should win this. The race to 5 would be over for Niels Feijen.
He'll be looking to close it out right here. A break. And he wants him to sit pretty. And put the finishing touch on it. Whoa, he's lost the cue ball.
Way down the other end.
And nothing finding its way to a pocket that seems to be successful. They're not just watching their breaks, they're watching the other. I guarantee you, both Niels and Ronnie have been out here watching the matches and how the players have broken on this main table. And it's all got filed.
Tough shot at the 1 here. Run it to the top. No. Safety.
Good containing shot there from Niels Feijen. Played that with a lot of right-hand side into that cue ball, wedging it up against those colors. Alcano knows that with everything in the open, a mistake here could be costly.
That's how quickly momentum can change. I mean, you're on top of the world. You're up 4-3. You're breaking, but in your break, good shot by your opponent to cover things up, and before you know it, there you go.
Well, there's the mistake. Got a little bit of an insurance policy and where that red 3 ball is finished, but here's another look at it. Just a clean miss. And missed that 1 by a long ways.
He did.
The speed that he hit it, Chuck, it was always going to be left a chance. But again, as I said, the problem is what Niels is trying to weigh up right now, that red 3 that he's looking at. Where can he leave the cue ball in depositing the 1 and the 2 to be able to attack that 3? So he's thinking 3 shots ahead right now. Give himself a nice angle on the 1 to get down to the 2 with the proper angle to get into that area on the 3.
Step 1 accomplished. Bad shape for the 2, but he's going to have to come in behind that, Jim.
Yes, he is. And I mean, it looks like he might have to play this with a touch of right-hand spin on that cue ball and just let it naturally float up the right-hand side of that 3. There. He's overhit it slightly. Not bad. Just the wrong side. The cue ball is going to be traveling away from the pink 4 next. And if he's not guaranteed position to the 4 from this 3, he's got a great chance here to again put the handcuffs on Ronnie.
So he'll want to stop that cue ball in between the 6 and the 3.
Chuck, that would be assuming he decides not to attack here. But I mean, this 3 goes. Just depends how Niels right now feels about this shot. And it looks like he is defending. Just lay the cue ball behind the 7. He's got the 5 taking away the easy cushion that would have offered the escape to Ronnie Alcano. But again, his intention there was to get out. You let your opponent get back to the table, things can happen. I guarantee you another thing, that Ronnie Alcano is happy to get back to the table, even being welcomed by this.
Oh my goodness. And again with a miscue.
That's 2 attempted kicks and 2 misses in a row. And I doubt very much that Niels Feijen will let Alcano come back to the table in this rack. And that one, I guarantee, is another that Ronnie Alcano would like to have back.
So 1 get out of jail free pass per rack. Never 2. Of course, never say never.
He had the handle of this match, and he's let the grip go. Niels Feijen, all of a sudden, is the favorite. You'd have to expect him to win this racket to 4-4.
And then he's got the break.
And he's got the break in the decider. And all of a sudden, that initial lag to determine the breaking sequence
becomes critical.
Turned out to be big. Beautifully controlled draw shot.
Wow, look at the backspin on that.
Again, just thinking 3 shots ahead, wants to leave himself a nice angle on the 6 to play that cue ball nearer that brown 7 with an angle to get back over the other side of the table for the 8. Just slightly overhit that, but not too bad. Slow roll this in.
Do you see any problems with that 8 ball? They're snug against that cushion on the other side, no?
No, none at all. Everything's at Niels Feijen's mercy right now. And I guarantee you that the one person that is suffering is Ronnie Alcano. He's in the most helpless position of all in his chair, having to take this one on the chin.
Well, yeah, especially he must have had so much momentum going for him. Even 4-3, you have to put your money on him when he's got the break.
Just overhit the break shot in this. Put a little extra into it. You know, didn't maintain that nice rhythm, that nice pace that you see in players.
Beautifully positioned cue ball for the 8, so not a problem, as you said, Jim.
Punctuated by a few major upsets. Now, does Niels have enough room to get through to the 1? Because look at the 2-9. This one could be over in the blink of an eye. If this one passes the 7 into the bottom right corner and Niels can slot it in, the 2-9 combination is there begging. And here we go for the match.
Niels certainly seems to sense that as well, Jim. You can see the difference in the level of his concentration.
There you go. The 2-9 punctuating a great comeback win for Niels Feijen. He trailed 4-2 at one stage and pulls out